half square triangles. How many of you do your half square triangles and they never come out straight? They always come out wonky. It can just be a real pain to do them. With this method, and the first time I did this with Gabe, he said, that's not going to work. You can't do that. So what you do is, first of all, in the book, they have a beautiful chart here that tells you what size finished block you want. It tells you the cut size, and it tells you the width of the tube size. It is taking me a long time to get used to this, because if I want a 5-inch block, I have to cut my strips at 4 1/4. Now, I'm not new math, and there's no way in the world that 4 1/4 is going to make a 5-inch square. And every time I use this ruler, it throws me for a loop. So this time I didn't even think about it. It said 4 1/4. I'm cutting my strips 4 1/4 because I wanted a 5-inch block. So I cut my strips at 5 1/4. And then you have to sew them together. You have to put them together. But I'm going to show you something that I learned this week. We're going to go over here to the iron. Let's make sure that it's on. That's going to go away. When we're putting our strips together, everybody strip pieces. Everybody who quilts strip pieces, sometime or another. And what we do is we take it to our sewing machine and we lay it one on top of the other and we just go. And 100 or 99.9% of the time, when you get done, your ends are off from where they're supposed to be because the pressure on your pressure foot has pushed the fabric forward. It doesn't matter if you clip. It doesn't matter if you pin. It will do that. I did the Jelly Roll race, and it's 42 strips of fabric that you have to strip piece together. It stretches. So I thought to myself this week, well, let's line these up and let's get some glue and let's glue them down first. So that's what I did. So I just do little pin drops about every 2 inches on both sides.
And I have to chuckle while she's doing this because this is why I glue my borders on.
Yes. And this is the point we're trying to make to you. I'm just going to do one end because I've already got my strips done, but I'm just going to hit it with the iron. It doesn't take any longer to put your glue on and hold it in place than it does to pin or clip.
I think it takes less time.
It takes less time because I only did it like even every 3 inches. It's just to keep it from stretching.
And if it does stretch just a little bit, sorry to keep interrupting you.
No, I like that.
Because I do the borders this way, whenever I'm quilting or whenever I'm putting a border on, because I do the borders this way, it eases in any stretch between the glue dots.
Yes. And I can do that with my walking foot and get a really good result, but my walking foot makes a lot of noise. And I sew in the family room while we're trying to watch the game, and Glenn will finally say, do you have to do that now? So with my regular foot, I can just do my beautiful sewing.
2 questions.
Okay.
Do you do this across the entire strip?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't want to do that today because I have so much to show you. I'm going to run out of time. And I do it on both sides. So go ahead and just go back and forth and do it on both sides.
Both sides of the strip. Yes. And then do you use just a dry iron, no steam?
I use a dry iron. All right, so once you've glued, we got to go back to our strip. So once you've glued, hit it with your iron just a few seconds so that you know that they're secure. And then I stitch both sides. So I know you're asking, well, do you stitch both sides going in the same direction? Or do you stitch one going one way and one going the other way? So when I glued it, it didn't matter because it didn't stretch. The reason why you usually sew it going in one direction and then the next direction is because your fabric is stretching when you're doing this. So I usually start both at the same ends and just go down, but these did not stretch. There's no waver, there's no anything on there. So once I have it sewn, I'm going to just heat set my stitches. And someone asked me once, why do you do that? Well, the heat puts the stitches, it bonds the stitches into your fabric. It just secures the stitches. This has been done in the sewing industry since I was a little girl, which we're not going to even tell you how long that ago that was. So, all right. So these are ironed, ready to be cut. I've already done my other ones. A little friendly tip today, if you're working with red fabric, don't use a red mat. Yes. Gabe's laughing at that one. So yes, I did struggle with my red fabric and the red mat, but I thought it's Valentine's Day.
Is it red on both sides?
It is red on both sides.
Oh boy.
So what I was working on was a little Valentine project. So let's just do this one.
And yes, it's only January, but Valentine's Day is next month, and
yes.
I believe it's just about a month and 3 days away.
Yes. And I mean, it comes on so fast after Christmas that we forget to do a little something for Valentine's Day. So this little topper that I'm going to show you, you can just play with half square triangles to do it. So, and I sewed with white thread. Normally, I don't like to do that for you on the camera, but you don't need to actually see the stitching line. So the instructions say for me, if I'm going to cut the, for the 5-inch finished square, I need to be on the 5.5-inch cutting line. And it shows you on here. So, and it has a little arrow. So there's your 5. I have it upside down for me. There's your 5, and there's the half line. And you can see that it's coming right in there. So we just need to put that on, not on your stitching line, but on your bottom line. So this is what Gabe was saying the first time I did it, but Mom, you've sewn both sides. So let's just show you what happens. So I'm going to cut here, and I'm sorry for the awkwardness. And did it cut? Nope, I'm at the wrong angle for the right pressure. So there we go. So there's your first block. All you're going to do is open it up, gently pull your stitches out, and there's your half square triangle. Now, I will trim this up just a hair because I want to cut off my tabs, and I'll use my glow ruler to make sure that I did that. So, that being said, I'm going to turn this around like this, and again, I'm going to lay it on my 1/2-inch mark. Sometimes you may have to trim this up from when you cut the first one. That's not a problem. See how easy that is? Right there, right on the edge. I'm going to hold it down, and I'm going to cut. And you're going to go across your whole piece that way, and you'll end up with a whole ton of these. So the next thing we're going to do is go back to the mat, Acorn Precision Piecing Pen. We're going to put it on, and this you'll be able to see, and I just refilled the tip this morning, so I'm just going to brush it very easily on. You can see that it's soaking in, and as I've told you before in my videos, I bring the liquid right out to the edge because I don't want any more fraying, and we can't control that. Let's do this one while that one's setting. Let it soak in. Come on. I just refilled it this morning, so it's got to get a little of it down into the tip. Someone asked me in the store the other day, how long do these last? They'll last a long time, many months. And I use it all the time. I use this on all my sewing, on all my seams. Maybe 3-4 months on a tip, depending on how much you're doing. If you're doing smaller pieces, they do get kind of cruddy on the end. Mine actually had little pieces starting to icky off, and I just kind of trimmed them up with my scissors a little bit, but you do have refills for those. The next step.
Yep, you can buy new nibs.
Oh, they have, yeah, we have, and they're online. We have lots of nibs. The next step is going to be, is you're just going to open this up. I'm just going to finger press it, use my point pressing tool, and I'm just going to gently make sure that that's going to lay flat. All right, I'm going to do the next one. Now here's a little tip. I don't have a written pattern for what I want to show you. I just played with my blocks. I actually saw this pattern online, and it was one of those free patterns that you can download. But when I went to download it, you had to download this, you had to download that, you had to sign up for this, you had to sign up for that. And I said, that's not happening. I can figure this out. But this is where I want you all to get a little creative. So normally, if I have a written pattern, now is the time that I would press. I am not going to press yet because I don't know which direction to press my seams. And I'll show you why. I was going to trim up. All right, let me trim up a little bit and show you how I trim up. We don't need that. We don't need that. These are all trimmed up. I should have waited and done that. So let's do a trim up. Oh, yeah, we can do a trim. So I'm taking my glow ruler and I'm just laying it on the 5.5 inch mark all the way around. It's nice in this corner. It's my glow line lays so beautifully there. And I'm just going to give it a little trim off and a little trim off. I replaced the blades this morning. There you go. Flip it around just so I can get that nice little neat corner.
And again, if you were using your spinner mat, you wouldn't have to do that.
Yes, Anna, if I was using my spinner mat, I wouldn't have to do that. And you're absolutely right. I should be using the spinner mat. Okay. There is your perfect block. But let's have some fun for a minute and just play, because I wanted to show you this really cool idea for a wonderful little table mat. So here I have all of these half square triangles made. Oh, when you get to the end, let's show this, Gabe.
Okay.
This is the end of my strip. I have this waist. It's not waist. Go to your next line and see where you can cut. Here you go. It doesn't matter. Here's a cute little half square triangle that you can use in something else. So technically, that's all the waist I have with this technique. Isn't that cool? I like that.
And actually, if you wanted to do a 1/4 inch stitch line on that waist,
yeah,
you could probably do another half
you could
square
do another
triangle.
one. You could. You have
Yep.
so little waist with this technique. So I'm with Gabe. This is a wonderful, wonderful tool. Okay. So let's lay out some of these blocks. And I am going to show you what I was looking at. Let's do a pink heart up here. And you're going to create a pole with your Valentines underneath. I just thought this was the coolest thing, that you could create a center pole going right up the front.
Well, it almost looks like a candy cane.
Yeah, it really does. Well, I saw it done in Christmas, and I thought, well, why can't we do it in the? So then what we're going to do is we're going to do some corner triangles here that really sets it. Let's pull in some of this pretty pink here. Let's see, there's a heart. So when you get done, you've got this pole going right up the center that I thought was so fun. And you just have to make sure. But the reason I'm telling you not to press your blocks is because you don't know which direction to nestle them until you've got it all laid out. So here we go. We've got more. Let's put the. So this is where you get to be creative, and it's such a simple project. The girls.
Oh, that's really neat how it actually starts to wind around the white pole.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
I didn't see it right away until I stepped back and I could see it, and that's really neat.
So I wanted 5-inch blocks because I'm just going to put a little side piece on, and I'm going to make it longer. My daughter, Gabe's sister, Amanda, loves beautiful runners on her beautiful table, and I wanted to have this go the full length. So I'll put a little band of something here, and then maybe the heart border going out, and then bind it. And then I'll have Gabe quilt it with hearts. So
lots of hearts to quilt.
Lots of hearts to quilt. So play with your your blocks, again, follow the directions for the strip tube on how wide to cut your strips. Cut them. And the reason why we're not pressing is because now I have these both going. If they're both laying to the dark, they aren't going to nestle. See? If you lay them to the dark, all of them to the dark, they all nestle together. So don't press them until you know which way they have to nestle. So once you have it laid out.
And the Eggcorn product will actually semi-press it for you. That's why we're saying once it dries, it's going to hold it in place.
So half of these aren't even pressed yet. I didn't figure that out until I had first laid it out on my design wall. And I'm thinking, oh no, I can't press these until I'm done because I want to nestle those blocks. That way you don't cut off your points and you won't have that big knob of seams on your back. So that's why I want to tell you. And in your written patterns, 90% of the time, they'll give you the arrows of which way to press. And I really have a problem when they don't nestle because it gets so thick there that it's really hard to get them to lay nice and flat. And when you're doing points like this, it's hard to spin them to make them lay flat. Okay, so that's our Valentine project. And I'm going to finish this up hopefully soon. We'll see. I don't want it to be a project. It's got to be done. And everyone have a wonderful week. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect to be amazing.
Thank you, everyone.